Welcome to Inside the Pit, All Access MMA. I'm your host, Luke Sobiak, joined by my co-host, Chris Camozzi, UFC middleweight. How's it going, Chris?
It's going great, man. Excited for another show.
I am too, man, and we have lots to talk about, including Thunderdome. What a card it was.
Yeah, it had a lot of hype, and it lived up to the hype. The venue was a little bit cold, but it looked like everybody didn't care. You know, the fights were so good.
And the crowd was jumping, too.
Yeah, it was insane to have a three-story, fight venue where everybody's looking into the cage. You know, it's the only venue I've ever been to like that. And it was a lot of fun. You know, the fights were really exciting, and, we've got some of those to talk about today.
Yeah, and we'll start things off with the first pro fight of the night, which was Kanan the Super Beast Grigsby taking on Dequan the Tarantula Townsend. A lot of people, and I predicted myself, fight of the night during the weigh-ins, but it didn't really go that way. It was so quick. Tell us about it, Chris.
Yeah, Kanan's a big, strong, local guy. I've seen a few of his fights, and I didn't expect that to happen, Dequan Townsend came from Michigan, and he studied a lot of tape, it sounded like, and he knew how Kanan was going to open up for the first round, and he did exactly that. He countered the way he said he would, and man, that was it was pretty explosive. That was a good knockout.
Well, Dequan's 27-4 as an amateur, and all 4 losses were by decision, so he's never been finished before. So, in case you missed the fight, take a look at it. What a knockout that was, man. That was crazy. 7 seconds.
It's got to be close to a record, I think, for the state. I'll have to check that out, but it was a quick knockout, and I'm looking forward to watching Dequan fight again.
So am I. And the co-main event kind of picked up where that one kind of left off. Lacey, the Lady Shukman, taking on Darla Trainwreck Harris, and this was fight of the night, hands down.
Who doesn't like a good girl fight, It seems to me the more shows you see the women on, they're getting fight of the night. These two ladies went at it 3 rounds, and I missed a little bit of it because I was cornering some teammates in the back, but, all I heard from everybody was what a chin Darla has.
Oh, Lacey had full mount on her in the second round and was raining down some big shots. And everybody thought the fight was over. The referee had stopped the fight. They actually started hugging each other because they thought it was over as well. But it was just a timeout by the referee. Apparently, Lacey was landing some shots on the back of Darla's head, causing the stop right there. And then when they continued, it still was a great fight. And if you missed it, we got some highlights for you. Hands down fight of the night, Chris.
Absolutely. Anytime it goes the distance like that, a back and forth brawl where, the pace never slows, it always makes for fight of the night.
And congratulations to Lacey the Lady Shukman on the win. The main event, now this is what got everybody out of their chairs. Vinny the Assault Lopez taking on TJ Titan Nunley. And again, real quick fight, could have been fight of the night. However, it only lasted 51 seconds.
Vinny's really becoming a force to be reckoned with locally and nationally, I think. He's getting close to that next step. And it's great to see him progress. He's a nice guy, and finishing TJ like that is a big accomplishment. TJ Nunley's a real tough fighter, and I didn't see it going that quick, but I assumed Vinny might win that fight. I had picked him to win, but I thought it might be a decision.
And TJ's never been finished before, ever. That was the first time he's been finished. So then you had Vinny with that big left hook, dropped him, and finished it off for his 5th win in a row, Vinny.
Yeah, you always want to be the first guy on another guy's record to finish him. There's nothing better than seeing your name stand by itself as the only TKO on a guy's record. So I know whenever I see a guy that I'm going to fight that's never been finished, I take it more of a challenge than anything, and I make it my goal to finish him.
But we do have highlights of that Vinny Lopez-TJ Nunley fight. Let's take a look at it. Thunderdome highlights. What a card it was. Again, thanks to everybody that came out, all the sponsors involved. But we're going to take a commercial break right now for one of our sponsors, the Ugly Dog Sports Bar, where you can catch all the UFC fights for free, including this guy, UFC 158, March 16th. It's our next big event coming up February 23rd, the Rivals card at Grizzly Rose in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one too. That one's another stacked card put on by Sparta Combat League. There's going to be some bangers on there for sure, so I can't wait for it.
Absolutely. The main event pits Jeremy Hart, who's 10-1, taking on Chilo Gonzalez. This is going to be a fight for probably fight of the year. Could be.
Absolutely. Jeremy Hart is exactly that. You know, the kid's got heart. He's coming nonstop, bell to bell. He's 10-1. And Chilo Gonzalez, you know, he's been around for a long time. You know, he's really made the rounds in the regional circuits and stuff. So I think they're going to be a good test for each other. Seeing as I haven't seen Chilo fight in a few years, so seeing him come back against a tough guy like Hart really says a lot.
Well, Inside the Pit All Access MMA actually caught up with them during training. Let's take a look at it. Be a banger of a fight, Chris.
Absolutely. I can't wait for it.
I can't wait either. And the co-main event is just, if not better, and a couple guys you might know.
Yeah, we got Nick Honstein up against Nick Mamalis, #1 contender fight. You know, the winner will move on to fight Ricky Johnson for the Sparta Combat League 135-pound title. Now, these two guys are probably the two best 135ers, you know, in the state for sure, and possibly in the country, that aren't signed to a big show right now. So it's really exciting to have this matchup on there. Nick Honstein actually trains at my gym, so you know I have the honor of seeing him day to day in the gym and see his work ethic, and I can honestly say that kid never stops. You know, so this is going to be a bell to bell battle. Nick's real good on the ground. I'm sorry, Nick Honstein. It's the battle of the Nicks. Nick Honstein is very good on the ground. He just moved back from Australia not too long ago and started training at Factory X, but his ground game is really, really good, and his striking is really developing over there at the gym. You know, other than those two aspects, his cardio is just on another level. Even though he just came from Australia at sea level, this guy, man, nobody else in the gym can keep up with him, so it's going to be real exciting. Nick Mamalis, I've had the honor to fight on a few cards with him as well. And I've been watching this kid for a while. I've seen him fight in Bellator. And, you know, I would say he's more of a ground and pound guy. So we got the battle of ground and pound versus more of a submission guy. So, you know, it should be a ground fight, but I think it's going to be a nonstop movement, you know, back and forth fight. I'm really excited for it, and it's cool to see the winner of this moving on to fight Ricky Furiosa Johnson.
Well, in the experience level on both of the fighters, they both have around 20 pro fights going into this fight. And like you said, Nick Honstein, 12-5 record. You get a chance to look at him on a daily basis, and you said his cardio is an advantage. I can't wait to see this fight. Again, #1 contender fight. Winner will fight Ricky Furioso Johnson coming up this summer.
And the other cool thing about these two guys is they both come from Nebraska. Talking to Nick Honstein, he was telling me, you know, that they were supposed to fight several times throughout their career, and you know, it hasn't happened until now. So all of that build-up just makes this even more exciting, especially for those of us that have been following these two guys. You know, they can't wait to get at each other.
But the fun doesn't end there. We also have Bellator veteran Justin J-Ho Houghton in a Muay Thai fight. That's going to be another outstanding fight.
Yeah, it's always fun to see professional Muay Thai fights. You know, generally on the local level you see more amateur Muay Thai fights, but Sparta Combat League has started putting on professional Muay Thai fights, and you know, without the headgear and everything, it changes the whole game.
I was going to ask you, Chris, is that a big difference? Obviously, MMA, you get on the ground and wrestle around, but Muay Thai, they have the standing 8-count rule.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a big difference. You know, people would think that it's not as tiring, but it actually is just as fatiguing to you know, stand up and trade punches in this small ring together over and over again. And you know, these two guys, it's going to be bell to bell as well. Those cages are smaller, so you know, you don't have too far to run away, which makes these more exciting for you and for us.
And again, this is the Rivals card, February 23rd at the Grizzly Rose in Denver, Colorado. We also have some updated rankings. Let's take a look at them.
episode of Camosi's Corner. I got my friend and teammate here, Adam Stroop. Adam fights out of Factory X. His next battle is going to be against Cruz Chacon February 23rd. So we're going to talk to him about getting ready and see what he has to say about his upcoming fight. So Adam, tell me what you know about Cruz Chacon as a fighter so far.
Cruz is a real tough guy. You know, he's been around since probably the early 2000s. You know, fought a lot of tough guys in the sport. A lot of big names. He's got a lot more fights than me. You know, a lot more experience. But I'm looking forward to it. He's looks like kind of a kickboxer kind of dude, and I'm excited to get in there and you know, get after it on the feet kind of thing. You know.
That's awesome. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know Adam, he's already had some epic battles here in Colorado. You know, I'm sure you can find him on YouTube. But Adam's a fans kind of fighter. You know, always puts on an exciting fight, and I think Cruz Chacon's experience is going to make it for a real test for him, and I think we're all excited to see it. So, what do you think the keys for victory are?
Definitely just keeping a good pace on him. You know what I mean? I don't want to. In my past fights, I've went out too hard, and then not really had much later in the fight. So I just want to keep a nice even pace. You know, keep coming at him and just stay aggressive the whole fight. And you know, just use my reach, use my long. I'm, you know, like 6'4", so hopefully I'll be able to, you know, keep him out and just take him apart that way.
You know, tell us a little bit about training and you know, how you're going to maintain that pace. What have you done to adjust?
Well, I'm always trying to bump up my cardio. You know, I feel like nobody can have too much cardio. You know what I mean? And I just want to always improve there. As far as finishing the fight, if I can find a way to finish, I'm always going to look for it. Always want to finish the fight in the first 5 seconds if I can, you know what I mean? I don't want to be in there any longer than I got to, but if we got to go 15 minutes of just straight going at it, then that's what it's going to take. Then I'm willing to do that too. But yeah, I want to finish, but you know, if I find it, I'm not going to overreact. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go too overboard on a opportunity. I'm just gonna let the fight play out the way it does, and you know, definitely try to stay aggressive the whole time. And you know, and as far as training goes, I've put in the work. You know, I feel like now it's just time to get the victory.
You're known for having a giant following. You always sell a ton of tickets. You bring a huge crowd with you. Does that ever play into your fights? Do you hear those people in the crowd? Does it motivate you?
Definitely does. You know, I mean, I feel like I got a lot of people behind me. You know what I mean? And that's a big part of what drives me to keep fighting. You know, when it hurts, when I get tired. You know, I know that my whole family's here, so I can't get beat up in front of my whole family. You know what I mean? And it's definitely definitely something that's, I think, you know, a driving factor to not lose. You know what I mean? I'm not just gonna give up. I'm gonna go till there's nothing left. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way. You know, in my fights and stuff. So, with Cruz being so experienced, other than that experience, you know, where do you think he's most dangerous? Where does he pose the most problems for you?
Definitely, he's got a good stand up. You know, he looks pretty savvy on the feet. He's you know, I think he boxes. I think he's kickboxed in the past. He looks like he throws head kicks. You know, pretty kind of Muay Thai looking game. Looks like he's got a decent clinch. So I would say the feet, you know, is definitely where he's best. I don't know about his ground game. I'm kind of thinking that he's going to want to keep it standing up. So, you know, that's kind of where I've been focusing. And you know, definitely, I like I said, I mean, you can't account for experience, you know, and he's been doing this for a lot of years, so he's seen it all. He's been around. He's not worried about, you know, something new. So
absolutely. Well, I think I can speak for most of the fans when I say I hope it stays standing. You know, obviously everybody likes to see a good war, and I think with your stand up and his, you know, it makes for a fight of the night right there. Last question, what do you think is the difference between Adam Stroop a year ago and Adam Stroop today?
Just, you know, the fights that I've had now. I think this will be my 4th pro fight. This time last year I was getting ready for my 1st pro fight. So, you know, just time in the ring, time on the mat, you know, always growing, my mind's stronger, my body's stronger. And, you know, I feel like I haven't even begun to reach my potential in the sport. I feel like I'm about 3 years away from that. And you know, so I'm just still developing my game, and you know, I'm 1 year farther along.
Awesome, yeah. So, you know, for those of you at home watching and stuff, ring experience is a huge thing You know, you can be 20-0, but if you've only been in the ring for 20, 30 seconds per fight, you know, it's not what you need. You know, when we bring up young fighters, we want them to have wins. We want them to, you know, finish fights and stuff. But as a coach myself, we want guys to stay in there for a little bit of time, you know, get that ring experience before they move up to the next level. So it's kind of a fine line between winning, finishing, but also being in the ring long enough to get comfortable so that when you do get to the next stage, you're nice and comfortable. So I'd like to thank Adam Stroop for coming for Camozzi's Corner here. Feel free to thank anybody you like.
Yeah, man, thanks first off for having me down. I'd like to thank Performance MMA. I'd like to thank Rome Saloon. I'd like to thank Ride the West RV, 5280 Armory, and of course Factory X, my teammates Chris, you know, everybody down there that helps me out and gets me ready for these fights. I couldn't do it without you, and of course my family for coming and supporting me.
Welcome back to the show. It's time now to say goodbye, but before that, if you want tickets for the February 23rd event Rivals, you can go to thebeatdownmma.com and purchase tickets there. We also like to thank the Ugly Dog Sports Bar for all they do for Sparta Combat, and also Spartan Labs. Welcome to the brand. Chris, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my personal sponsors as well. ToolKing.com. It's a local business here in Colorado. Jamie Josta, the lead singer of Hatebreed, they've got a new album out, Divinity of Purpose. You can buy that on iTunes. He's a big supporter of mine. I'd like to thank the Ugly Dog, you know, where you can see my next fight live on pay-per-view, UFC 158, March 16th. Other than that, looking forward to another show next week, and hope to catch you guys back again.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.